says, righteousness, righteousness you shall pursue. The word righteousness is repeated in that verse. And the sages asked the obvious question, why? Why is it there twice? They concluded that the meaning was this: you must pursue righteousness in a righteous manner. So in other words, you can't do something wrong for a good result. Okay? It is not enough to seek righteousness, it must be done through righteous means. The Torah does not condone the pursuit of a holy end through unholy means. Thus, the Haftarah portion, Micah 6, verses 6 through 8, is a perfect summary of the parashah. He has told you, man, what is good. That is what brings peace. What does Adonai require of you? But to do justice, to love mercy, chesed, loving kindness, and to walk humbly with your God. Okay? Doing justice and living a life of grace can only be done by walking with Him. That is, living according to His ways, following His halakha, if you will. The pursuit of righteousness must always follow the path He has prescribed, not your imagination. I've wondered myself about those groups who, with sincere desire and fervency, they pray that God would bring revival in their city. But at the same time, they persist in their disobedience of what God has commanded. It seems to me that true revival comes when we are struck with "Thus says Hashem" to such a degree that we are willing, or should I say we realize we have no choice but to follow Him regardless of the cost. First, we must be willing to obey, and only then can we expect God's blessing. And so the apostolic section is also a fitting summary, for in it Yeshua quotes our text, "Judge with righteous judgment." How is this possible? How could they understand that Yeshua's healing of a man on the Sabbath did not, in fact, break the Sabbath, but actually established it? They could only understand it if they were looking at the whole Torah with eyes of faith. Faith to see that the Torah itself pointed to Him, the Messiah. Thus, in the end, righteousness is only found in submitting to God's Messiah, submitting to the King. How else does the kingdom work, right? In finding first in Him a cleansing for your soul, and then the power to live out the life of righteousness. That cleansing, such a cleansing and such power, comes from being healed by the touch of His hand and by coming to know His saving power personally. A power which brings true rest, Shabbat rest, to your soul. And this returns us full circle to the issue of peace and joy, where the parashah began, in the festival of Sukkot.